Have you ever felt like you were fighting against something invisible, like a greater force was trying to hinder your progress? Maybe you've noticed that even when you do everything right, it seems like the universe conspires to block your progress, and the weight of this battle leaves you exhausted, as if you were fighting alone. But here's the truth, you're not alone. Chosen ones like you carry a purpose so powerful that it attracts not only blessings but also the eyes of the wicked, those who have dug their own graves by trying to destroy the righteous. And what you need to understand is that this fight is not in vain. It is part of a larger plan. God is using even difficulties to mold your spirit and strengthen your mission. Stay with me, because what I am going to share may be the key to understanding what is really happening in your life. What few know, and what no one dares to say, is that the chosen ones live surrounded by disguised traps, venomous schemes that seem harmless but have the power to lead to spiritual destruction. These forces want to extinguish your light, steal your essence, and divert you from the destiny that God has set for you. And this is exactly where God's anointing makes a difference. Those who try to mess with a chosen one trigger divine justice, activating a chain of events that reveals the cosmic law in action. But how to escape these traps before it's too late? The answer lies not only in faith, it is in the brutal truth that few are willing to face. In the next few minutes, you will discover the tools that God has placed in your hands and how to use them to win this spiritual battle. If you leave now, you will miss the revelation that could change everything. Many chosen ones, carrying God's anointing, face venomous schemes and evil plots created to destroy their souls. But few understand that they are fighting alone against forces that silently conspire to bury them. There is a spiritual death sentence being signed without you realizing it. And the brutal truth is that messing with a chosen one is not just a mistake. It is activating the cosmic law, which brings severe consequences for those who dare to touch God's untouchables. If you feel trapped in a wasp's nest, surrounded by lies and destruction, know that there is something greater at work. Divine tools are working in your favor, even when everything seems lost. But beware, ignoring this warning can be fatal. Are you ready to face divine justice and discover how to avoid falling into the traps that have destroyed so many righteous ones? Stay with me until the end, because what comes next will expose the swarm that tries to stifle your spirit and reveal the unshakable power that God has placed within you. Being a chosen one means carrying a divine purpose in your essence, a spiritual calling that transcends ordinary existence. These souls have a more intense connection with the spiritual plane, something that drives them to constantly seek the greater meaning behind life's experiences. The condition of being chosen is not about privileges, but about responsibility. They are people who, even before they were born, accepted a sacred pact to bring light, love, and transformation to the world. This definition is not tied to a specific religion, but to a universal connection with the divine, accessible to all who choose to awaken to their true mission. Chosen ones often perceive signs that others may ignore. Their lives are marked by sharp intuition, as if they are constantly receiving messages from the universe. This sensitivity is a powerful tool that helps them discern what is true and aligned with their purpose. For them, life is not just a sequence of events, but a field where each experience has a deep meaning. This vision places them on a unique path where the pursuit of spiritual truth and the fulfillment of divine purpose is non-negotiable. One of the most striking characteristics of the chosen ones is their intense empathy. They can feel the pain, joy, and emotions of others deeply, almost as if they were their own. This sensitivity can be both a blessing and a challenge, as they often end up absorbing the energies around them. This empathy makes them excellent listeners, counselors, and sources of comfort for those around them, but it also leaves them vulnerable to emotional exhaustion. Chosen ones often experience a sense of isolation, as if they do not belong to the world around them. They may feel different from an early age, realizing that their values and life perspectives do not align with common social standards. This feeling, although painful, is a reflection of their unique nature. It is as if they are spiritual foreigners, here to fulfill a mission that is not always understood by others. Chosen ones live with an internal restlessness, an incessant quest for something greater. They are not satisfied with the superficial answers the world offers. They need depth, meaning, and truth. This impulse leads them to explore spiritual paths, study universal philosophies, and dive into practices that connect them to the divine. This quest is what feeds their soul and keeps them on the path of their mission. Carrying a divine mission means dealing with great challenges. Chosen ones often face difficult situations, whether emotional, spiritual, or physical. This happens because their light attracts both good and evil, and often they become targets of forces that try to divert them from their mission. However, these adversities have a purpose: to strengthen them and make them capable of fulfilling what they came to do in this world. Chosen ones have the ability to transform the environment in which they live. Whether through words, actions, or simply their presence, they have the power to illuminate and inspire those around them. However, this responsibility requires a deep level of commitment and self-care, as they cannot offer the world what they do not cultivate in themselves. That is why taking care of their own spirituality is essential to fulfilling their mission. The path of the chosen ones is not easy. They are often tested to prove their faith, resilience, and commitment to their mission. These tests can come in the form of losses, betrayals, or periods of spiritual darkness. However, each test prepares them to face greater challenges and brings them closer to their divine essence. It is in this process that they learn to trust in the inner strength they possess and in the guidance of the divine. Hearing all this, you may wonder, am I a chosen one? If you feel that you carry an incessant quest for something greater, if you feel that you do not fully belong to the world around you, or if you have faced great challenges that seem to test your faith and strength, then you may very well be one of them. There is no coincidence in the fact that you are here, watching this video. Perhaps this is the answer you have been seeking, or a call to awaken to something greater. The beginning of a chosen one's journey is often marked by a moment of deep internal questioning, an awakening that shakes their perception of reality. This call can come in the form of emotional crises, significant losses, or even through an intense spiritual experience. It is as if an inner voice whispers that there is something greater reserved for them, something that needs to be discovered and lived. This awakening transforms their lives, as they begin to see the world with new eyes, realizing that many things that once seemed essential now lose their meaning. It is the first step of a journey that has no return. When the chosen ones realize their mission, everything around them begins to change. Personal relationships can be impacted, and the sense of belonging to the outside world diminishes. They feel an irresistible call to explore their essence, seek deeper truths, and connect with the divine. This transformation can cause discomfort, as it requires them to leave behind old beliefs, habits, and even people who are not aligned with their new purpose. What was once comfortable now seems empty, and they are driven to seek new meaning in their lives. After the initial call, doubts arise. Am I really a chosen one? Is this purpose real, or just a creation of my mind? These questions haunt the hearts of the chosen ones, especially at the beginning of their journey. They question their ability to fulfill the mission and feel small in the face of the weight of this responsibility. This phase is crucial, as it is at this moment that faith begins to be tested. Doubts do not come to divert the chosen one, but to strengthen them, challenging them to trust their intuition and divine guidance, even without having all the answers. One of the greatest challenges faced by the chosen ones is isolation. They often feel different, as if they do not belong to the world around them. This feeling of disconnection can be very painful, as it is often accompanied by the incomprehension of others. Friends and family may not understand their choices, or what they are facing internally. Isolation, however, is also an opportunity. It is in the silence of solitude that the chosen ones have the chance to deepen their connection with the divine, understand their purpose, and strengthen their inner light. As the chosen ones advance on their journey, they begin to attract not only positive forces, but also spiritual resistances. These attacks can come in different forms: negative thoughts, external challenges, or even energies that try to divert them from their purpose. This happens because their light disturbs forces that prefer to keep the world in darkness. These moments of spiritual struggle require them to have a lot of strength, faith, and protection. This is where spiritual practices such as prayer, meditation, and connection with the divine become indispensable. Because they are on a unique path, the chosen ones often face the incomprehension of those around them. They may be judged as different, strange, or even rejected for their beliefs and choices. This is especially challenging when it comes from close people, such as family or friends. However, this incomprehension is an opportunity for the chosen ones to learn to detach from the need for external approval and strengthen their internal connection with their purpose. They learn that not everyone will understand their journey, and that is part of the process. The mission of the chosen ones is not light. They carry the responsibility of illuminating the world around them, being examples of transformation, and spreading messages of love, hope, and faith. This weight often seems overwhelming, especially in moments of weakness or doubt. However, The chosen ones also know that they are not alone. The divine force is always by their side, guiding and sustaining them. They learn that their mission is not just a burden, but also a gift, as it gives them the opportunity to live a life with profound meaning. The chosen ones understand, throughout their journey, that pain is not a punishment, but a teacher. Every difficulty, loss, or moment of darkness comes with important lessons that prepare them for the next level of their mission. It is in pain that they learn about resilience, empathy, and compassion. They begin to see their challenges not as obstacles, but as part of the spiritual refinement process that makes them stronger and more aligned with their divine essence. Despite all the challenges, the chosen ones have an inner strength that drives them to continue. Even when everything seems lost, there is an inner voice that reminds them of who they are and the purpose they carry. This persistence is fueled by their faith and the certainty that each step, no matter how difficult, brings them closer to their spiritual fulfillment. They know that, in the end, their journey will have an impact not only on their own lives, but also on the lives of all those who cross their path. The chosen ones know that their inner light can never be extinguished, no matter how intense the storms. They carry within themselves a divine flame that connects them to the greater purpose of their existence. This light is their strength, their guide, and their protection. No matter how challenging the path, they understand that each obstacle overcome is an opportunity to make their light shine even brighter, illuminating not only their own journey, but also the path of those around them. The actions that lead to spiritual death rarely appear as something obvious or openly destructive. In fact, they often disguise themselves as harmless habits, seemingly trivial decisions, or even choices that, at first glance, seem positive. It is precisely this disguise that makes them so dangerous. Often, these actions infiltrate the routines of the chosen ones as distractions, fears, or behaviors that gradually distance them from their divine essence. It's like a silent poison. It doesn't kill all at once but acts slowly, corroding the spiritual connection that keeps the chosen ones in their purpose. One of the main traps that lead to spiritual death is the constant distraction offered by the modern world. Technology, social media, and the unrestrained consumption of entertainment may seem harmless, but when used without balance, they become tools that divert the chosen ones from their mission. These distractions fill the mind with noise, suffocate intuition, and hinder the connection with the divine. The chosen ones need to be aware of these habits, as it is very easy to get lost in the rush of everyday life and forget to set aside time to cultivate their spirituality and purpose. Another fatal behavior for the chosen ones is the denial of their own purpose. Often, due to fear, social pressure, or lack of understanding, the chosen ones try to ignore or flee from the calling they feel in their soul. This denial can come accompanied by choices that distance them from their inner truth, such as conforming to a life that does not reflect their essence or engaging in activities that contradict their values. This type of behavior, although seemingly simple, is one of the fastest ways to spiritual disconnection, as it goes against the reason why the chosen ones are here. The chosen ones also need to be careful with the energy they allow in their lives. Surrounding themselves with toxic people, constantly absorbing negative news, or engaging in destructive discussions can deplete their spiritual energy. Although the chosen ones have a special light, it is not unshakable. Continuously exposing themselves to negative energies can obscure their connection with the divine and lead to emotional and spiritual exhaustion. It is essential that the chosen ones filter what they absorb, both in the environment around them and within themselves, cultivating thoughts and relationships that strengthen their light. Perhaps the most dangerous trap of all is the small deviation. The chosen ones do not always fall because of major errors or catastrophic decisions, but because of a series of small deviations that, over time, accumulate and distance them from their purpose. These are those small choices that seem insignificant but little by little divert the focus, diminish faith, and distance them from the path. It could be the procrastination of a spiritual practice, the choice to ignore a sign from the universe, or even giving in to a habit that does not nourish the soul. These small deviations, when not corrected, have the power to slowly destroy the spiritual connection of the chosen ones and lead them to a fall that often may seem irreversible. Disconnection from the divine is one of the first traps that lead to spiritual death. When the chosen ones distance themselves from their spiritual essence, they begin to lose the balance that kept them firm on their journey. This estrangement usually happens subtly, like a small crack in a solid foundation that over time can turn into a complete collapse. Without the constant connection with the divine, The chosen ones become vulnerable to external influences, internal doubts, and the weight of earthly circumstances, which begin to undermine their strength and purpose. The modern world is a fertile ground for distractions. The overload of commitments, responsibilities, and mundane obligations may seem harmless at first glance, but it acts like a fog that obscures the spiritual vision of the chosen ones. Days filled with incessant tasks leave little or no space for deep reflections, prayers, or meditations. This lack of moments of connection with the divine can slowly drain spiritual energy, leaving a void that the chosen ones often do not notice until they feel completely disconnected. A routine without spiritual purpose is like navigating without a compass. Even the most important tasks, when disconnected from a greater meaning, become burdens. The mechanical repetition of activities can turn life into something colorless, stifling the spirituality of the chosen ones. They may even be fulfilling their responsibilities, but without the connection to the divine, these efforts become empty. This state of disconnection results in a feeling of stagnation and hopelessness, which, if not addressed, can lead to spiritual death. External distractions, such as technology, social media, and incessant entertainment, also contribute to spiritual disconnection. The constant noise of the outside world drowns out the inner voice that guides the chosen ones on their journey. When the soul finds no space for silence and introspection, it loses the ability to hear the whispers of the divine. This absence of internal dialogue leaves the chosen ones disoriented, making them easy prey for spiritual traps. The incessant pursuit of financial stability, recognition, and material achievements can be another major trap. Although these goals are part of human life, when they become the absolute priority, they push the spiritual connection to the background. The chosen ones then begin to feel divided between what the world demands of them and what their souls yearn for. This internal tension can lead to emotional and spiritual exhaustion, leaving them vulnerable to the fall. Overloaded routines also generate emotional exhaustion, which directly affects the spiritual connection. When the chosen ones are physically and mentally exhausted, the first thing they usually abandon is the time dedicated to spirituality. Prayers become rushed, meditations are neglected, and the sacred space to connect with the divine is lost. This cycle of abandonment weakens the soul and creates an abyss between the chosen ones and their spiritual source. One of the greatest risks of purposeless routines is spiritual autopilot. The chosen ones may continue to perform spiritual practices, but without true engagement. Praying without feeling, meditating without depth, and seeking answers without being truly present are symptoms of this state. This type of disconnection, although disguised as spiritual effort, is even more dangerous, as the chosen ones believe they are on the right path while, in reality, they are distancing themselves more and more. When the connection with the divine weakens, the chosen ones also lose the ability to recognize the signs of the universe. These signs, which were once clear and direct, begin to seem confusing or non-existent. This lack of perception creates a feeling of abandonment, as if the universe had stopped guiding them. In reality, it is the spiritual disconnection that prevents them from seeing the messages that are always around them. Recognizing disconnection is the first step to restoring the connection with the divine. It is essential that the chosen ones learn to balance their mundane routines with consistent spiritual practices. Small moments of introspection throughout the day can bring a sense of spiritual renewal. Prioritizing time to meditate, pray, and reconnect with their essence is vital to avoid spiritual death and overcome the world's traps. The connection with the divine is not a permanent state, it is a daily choice. The chosen ones need to be attentive to the signs of disconnection and take measures to reapproach whenever necessary. This may mean adjusting their priorities, seeking more silence amid chaos, and cultivating a life that reflects their spiritual purpose. By doing so, they shield themselves against the traps that lead to the fall and strengthen themselves to continue their journey with clarity and purpose. Relationships are like bridges. They can lead us to places of growth or drag us into abysses of suffering. For the chosen ones, who possess a unique spiritual sensitivity, toxic relationships are one of the greatest threats to their journey. Wrong connections can act like invisible chains, draining their energy, diverting them from their purpose, and causing profound spiritual imbalance. Often, these relationships start innocuously, but over time reveal themselves as sources of emotional and spiritual exhaustion. Toxic relationships can create an environment of constant negativity. The words, attitudes, and energies of the wrong people have the power to undermine the chosen one's confidence in themselves and their mission. When surrounded by individuals who do not understand or respect their sensitivity, the chosen ones often begin to question their worth, their intuition, and even their connection with the divine. This puts them in a state of confusion and vulnerability, making them more susceptible to spiritual traps. Toxic connections function like emotional vampires, constantly sucking the energy of the chosen ones. Whether through criticism, manipulation, or abusive behavior, these relationships leave the chosen ones drained. This exhaustion is not only physical but also spiritual, weakening their connection with their divine source. The longer they remain in such relationships, the harder it becomes to hear their intuition, recognize the signs of the universe, and find clarity on their journey. One of the greatest dangers of toxic relationships is the diversion from purpose. The chosen ones are beings guided by a unique spiritual mission, but when surrounded by the wrong people, they may end up losing sight of that mission. The demands, dramas, and negativity of these toxic connections consume so much time and energy that the chosen ones find themselves straying from their path. This deviation can generate a sense of emptiness and disconnection, leaving them without direction. Often, the chosen ones have difficulty identifying toxic relationships because they are naturally empathetic. Their ability to deeply feel others often leads them to justify harmful behaviors, believing they can help or heal those around them. This emotional blindness traps them in cycles of pain, where they continue to give their energy without receiving anything in return, until they finally feel completely drained. Words have power, and in toxic relationships, this power is used to destroy. Demotivating comments, constant criticism, and lack of support are forms of emotional sabotage that erode the chosen one's self-esteem and confidence. Additionally, the negative energies of these connections create a hostile environment where the chosen ones cannot thrive spiritually. This constant bombardment affects their vibration and weakens their ability to connect with their divine mission. Toxic relationships create a sense of spiritual imprisonment. The chosen ones begin to feel trapped in a cycle of pain and stagnation, without the strength to get out. This feeling of being trapped is not only emotional but also spiritual, because the wrong connections prevent them from growing, exploring, and fulfilling their purpose. The feeling of spiritual suffocation can lead them to believe that they are alone or that the divine has abandoned them. To overcome the influence of toxic relationships, the chosen ones need the courage to cut these ties. Although this may be painful, it is a necessary action to restore their spiritual energy and get back on the right path. Recognizing that not all people can or should be part of their journey is a crucial step to protect their connection with the divine. Freeing themselves from these influences allows the chosen ones to regain their strength, clarity, and purpose. Once the chosen ones free themselves from toxic relationships, it is vital that they seek positive and uplifting connections. Surrounding themselves with people who share similar values and support their spiritual mission helps to strengthen their journey. Healthy connections act as fuel for the soul, providing inspiration, motivation, and support in the most challenging moments. These relationships function as pillars that support the chosen ones on their path. Despite all the pain caused by toxic relationships, they also bring valuable spiritual lessons. Each wrong connection teaches the chosen ones about discernment, boundaries, and self-worth. These learnings strengthen their ability to recognize and avoid future traps, allowing them to move forward on their journey with more wisdom. In the end, the chosen ones discover that even the most difficult relationships can be transformed into opportunities for growth and reconnection with the divine. Despite all the pain and learning that toxic relationships bring, they carry a deeper truth that many ignore. There is something that connects these harmful bonds with an even greater risk in the journey of the chosen ones. A silent, almost imperceptible action that becomes the true catalyst for spiritual death. This fatal action is related to something that few can perceive, but that directly impacts the divine mission of each chosen one. But before we get to this revelation that can change the course of your journey, it is necessary to address a crucial step: the importance of maintaining spiritual vigilance and how small daily attitudes can transform your connection with the divine. This understanding will be the foundation so that, at the right moment, you will be prepared to discover the truth about the fatal action. Stay tuned, because the next few minutes will be essential for your transformation. Negative vibrations are like silent waves that permeate the environment, directly affecting the soul of the chosen ones. These energies, often imperceptible, can weaken the spiritual connection and undermine inner clarity. When the chosen ones are constantly exposed to environments filled with pessimism, conflicts, or dense energies, their natural vibration begins to align with these patterns. Without realizing it, they may feel exhausted, unmotivated, and disconnected from their divine purpose. It is essential to understand that, just as the body needs healthy food, the soul needs environments and energies that nourish and strengthen it. Each environment has a unique vibration, which is formed by the intentions, thoughts, and actions of the people who frequent it. Places where there are many discussions, complaints, or negative behaviors tend to accumulate dense energy, which can deeply affect the chosen ones. Their spiritual sensitivity makes them more receptive to these vibrations, which can generate feelings of restlessness, anxiety, or even spiritual blockages. Therefore, it is crucial to be aware of the environments they frequent and seek spaces that promote harmony, peace, and spiritual elevation. Protecting themselves from negative vibrations is a personal responsibility of the chosen ones. Just as we use an umbrella to protect ourselves from the rain, it is necessary to create spiritual barriers to prevent dense energies from hitting us. This protection can be cultivated through practices such as meditation, prayer, the use of crystals, or other elements that help strengthen the energy field. Additionally, it is important to develop discernment to identify when an environment or situation is draining energy, so that preventive action can be taken. The best way to combat negative vibrations is to fill life with positive energies. This includes cultivating elevated thoughts, surrounding oneself with people who inspire growth, and seeking activities that promote joy and spiritual elevation. When the chosen ones are immersed in a frequency of light, they become less susceptible to external influences. This inner light acts as a shield, protecting their soul and maintaining their connection with the divine even in challenging environments. It is a reminder that the strongest vibration always prevails. The chosen ones must frequently reevaluate the energy cycles they are in. This means observing which people, places, and situations are contributing to or draining their energy. It is not always easy to distance oneself from environments or relationships that weaken the soul, but it is a necessary step to preserve their spiritual integrity. By prioritizing their energy and spiritual well-being, the chosen ones strengthen their connection with the divine and become more capable of fulfilling their mission, regardless of external influences. Reconnecting with the divine is the first step to avoid spiritual downfall. For the chosen ones, practices such as meditation, prayer, and moments of introspection are indispensable, as they allow the soul to align with the divine frequency. Meditating daily, even for a few minutes, is a way to silence external noise and hear the inner voice. Prayer, in turn, strengthens the bond with the divine, allowing the chosen ones to express gratitude, ask for guidance, and renew their spiritual strength. These sacred moments should be seen as a refuge, a necessary pause to replenish energy and keep the purpose alive. The practice of daily gratitude is a simple but extremely effective tool for maintaining spiritual connection. By recognizing the blessings present, even in challenges, the chosen ones change their vibration to a frequency of abundance and light. This spiritual exercise helps combat feelings of discouragement and emptiness, reminding that everything in the journey has a purpose. A powerful habit is to write down 3 things you feel grateful for each day. This not only increases the perception of the gifts around, but also reinforces trust in the divine wisdom that guides the chosen ones. One of the most important steps to avoid spiritual downfall is learning to recognize the signs that the spirit is weakening. Constant feelings of discouragement, lack of inner peace, or an inexplicable sense of emptiness are alerts that something is out of alignment. These symptoms should not be ignored, as they are like beacons indicating that the connection with the divine is being lost. For the chosen ones, it is essential to observe these signs carefully, reflect on what might be draining their energy, and take measures to correct the course before the distancing deepens. Spiritual traps often hide in the small details of daily life. Excessive distractions, overwork, prolonged exposure to negative environments, and relationships that do not promote growth are just a few examples. The chosen ones need to develop a state of constant vigilance to identify these elements before they cause significant damage. Being attentive to the impact of each choice on the spiritual state is fundamental. A good practice is to review daily events and evaluate what contributed to elevating or weakening the soul, adjusting the path according to these perceptions. To avoid the downfall, the chosen ones need to cultivate a consistent and strengthening spiritual routine. This involves setting aside time for practices that renew the soul, such as inspirational readings, contact with nature, and moments of silence. Establishing a physical space for spiritual practices, such as a prayer or meditation corner, can also help create an atmosphere of peace and elevation. Additionally, prioritizing relationships that promote spiritual growth and seeking groups or communities that share similar values can offer essential support. This routine is not just a preventive measure, but a way to ensure that the spiritual journey remains strong and aligned with the divine purpose. We are about to reach a crucial moment in this journey of understanding. Have you felt the pieces starting to fit together throughout this video? It's as if each word is a key opening a new door within you. The revelation we are about to share is not just a teaching, it is a game changer. Rarely in life are we confronted with something that can completely redefine our way of seeing the world, our purpose, and most importantly, the strength we carry as chosen ones. This transformation is within your reach, but it requires attention, dedication, and courage. Before moving forward, it is essential to understand that this revelation is not just information. It is a summons. It requires you to be aligned with your spiritual essence. It is not something you just hear and forget. On the contrary, it is something that must be incorporated into your life, something that requires you to be prepared to act. If you have come this far, it is because you feel this call. This preparation involves letting go of limiting beliefs and embracing a new perception of yourself and the universe. Are you ready for this? Spiritual death is not just a symbolic concept. It is a real danger, often silent, that threatens the chosen ones in an insidious way. It happens when we distance ourselves from our essence, when we stop listening to that inner voice that guides us. It is like a shadow approaching when we allow doubts, fears, and external influences to dominate us. That is why this revelation is so important. It not only exposes this risk, but also illuminates the path so that you can avoid it. One of the greatest barriers leading to spiritual death is the denial of responsibility. It is easier to blame the world, circumstances, or even other people for what happens to us. But as chosen ones, we are called to a higher level of consciousness. Taking responsibility for our journey is the first step to reconnecting with the mission we were given. Before receiving the final revelation, ask yourself, have I taken on my role as a chosen one, or have I been running away from it? Imagine for a moment what could change in your life by understanding the secret we are about to reveal. Think about the decisions you made in the past, the paths you chose, the times you felt something was missing but didn't know what it was. Now visualize how much clearer all of this can become when you access this understanding. This is the power of revelation. It illuminates parts of you that were dormant and awakens a strength you didn't even know you had. Before continuing, I want you to take a pause and ask yourself, am I really ready for this? The revelation that is coming is not just knowledge to store in your mind. It is a tool to transform your life. But for that, you need to commit to the process. Committing means letting go of what no longer serves, making room for the new, and accepting the challenge of becoming who you were called to be. We realize that spiritual death is a state of disconnection. It is when a chosen one gets lost in the noise of the world, when distractions, internal conflicts, and external illusions distance them from their true mission. Now think about the title of this video. This fatal action leads the chosen ones to spiritual death. What could be more fatal than forgetting who you are? Than giving up your divine purpose for something temporary? If you have come this far, it is because you feel that something in your life needs to change. It is no coincidence that this video crossed your path. The chosen ones never find the answers easily. They come when they are ready to receive them. This is the moment to awaken. It is the moment to stop making excuses and start seeking solutions. It is the moment to understand that every step you take can either distance you or bring you closer to what is truly yours. Before we get to the revelation, I want you to look within yourself and reflect. What areas of your life are out of balance? Where do you feel you have lost connection with your essence? Do not judge yourself, but also do not deny the truths that emerge. This is a moment of honesty. The revelation will only have the impact it should if you are willing to face the reality of your journey so far. Now, with your mind clearer and your heart more open, it is time to prepare for what comes next. This revelation is not just an end, but a new beginning. What you are about to hear has the power to redefine everything you believe about spiritual death, and more importantly, about how to avoid it. Take a deep breath, be present, and allow yourself to receive this message with an open heart. The next step will be crucial for your journey as a chosen one. The revelation of what the fatal action that leads the chosen ones to spiritual death truly means. And this action, although it may seem simple, is devastating, ignoring the signs of the universe and straying from the divine purpose. That's right. The negligence in listening to and interpreting the signs that constantly guide us and the deviation from the spiritual mission entrusted to us are the greatest enemies of the journey of the chosen ones. These signs do not appear by chance. They are messages sent by the universe, by God, or by divine energy to align us with our purpose. Ignoring them not only distances us from this alignment, but also casts us into a state of spiritual stagnation, where the connection with our essence begins to fade. The signs are everywhere: a word that deeply resonates, a recurring dream, an intuition that cannot be ignored, or even obstacles that seem to indicate the need for a change of direction. These signs are like a spiritual compass, pointing to the path we should tread. But many chosen ones, whether out of fear, distraction, or external influence, ignore these warnings. They choose the comfort of the familiar instead of the challenge of growth. And that is where spiritual death begins to set in, when we stop seeing the signs and allow our inner light to weaken. Every chosen one is born with a unique purpose, a mission that connects them directly to the divine. This purpose is not just a task to be accomplished. It is the reason why you are here. However, the world constantly tries to distract us from this purpose, whether through mundane responsibilities, temptations, or external pressures. Straying from this purpose is like abandoning your own spirit, allowing confusion, emptiness, and dissatisfaction to take over. This disconnection creates a dangerous cycle. The further we move away, the less we perceive the signs, and the less we perceive the signs, the further we get from our essence. When the chosen ones ignore the signs and stray from their mission, the result is inevitable: spiritual death. This state is not just an absence of faith or hope. It is a profound state of disconnection with the divine, with oneself, and with the purpose of their existence. This spiritual death brings with it feelings of emptiness, disorientation, and a sense that life has lost its meaning. Many who reach this point feel trapped in a darkness that seems impossible to escape. However, the good news is that even in this state, there is still a way out. But this exit requires a conscious effort to reconnect and realign with what is sacred. The revelation we share here is not just a truth to be heard, but a call to action. As a chosen one, it is your duty to pay attention to the signs that the universe sends. They are the map that guides you back to your purpose, to your mission, and to your true essence. Neglecting these signs is opening the doors to spiritual death, but embracing them is walking towards spiritual fulfillment. Therefore, from now on, commit yourself to observing more, listening more, and trusting more. Your purpose is sacred, and the signs that come to you are not coincidences. They are a constant reminder of who you really are and the impact you were called to make in the world. When the chosen ones stray from their divine purpose, the soul begins to feel the effects of this disconnection. It is as if the inner flame, which should be burning brightly, begins to slowly fade. This does not happen all at once, but in stages. First, there is an inexplicable emptiness, a sense that something is missing, even if everything seems fine on the surface. Over time, this emptiness turns into a burden, a lack of motivation that makes even the simplest tasks difficult. The heart of the chosen one, once full of purpose, starts to close, and the soul, without the connection to the divine, feels lost and isolated. The disconnection from purpose creates a dangerous cycle of spiritual stagnation. When the chosen ones ignore the signs and stray from their mission, they enter a state of inertia, where everything seems stuck and without progress. Opportunities that were once clear go unnoticed, intuition weakens, and decisions begin to be made based on fear, doubt, or ego. This cycle prevents the chosen one from growing spiritually, and leaves them vulnerable to external influences that seek to further divert them from their essence. With each passing day in this state, the inner light dims a little more, making reconnection an even greater challenge. The soul of a chosen one disconnected from purpose not only suffers, but also carries deep wounds. These wounds manifest in feelings of frustration, anguish, and even in questioning one's own worth. Many ask themselves, "Why do I feel this way?" without realizing that the cause lies in the neglect of their spiritual mission. These wounds, if not treated, can expand, leading to self-destructive behaviors, isolation, and even loss of faith. That is why it is vital to understand the impact of this disconnection and act before these wounds become permanent scars. Reconnecting with the divine purpose is not something that happens by chance. It is a conscious choice that requires effort and dedication. When the chosen ones understand the impact of straying from their purpose, they gain the opportunity to change the direction of their lives. Acting consciously means paying attention to the signs of the universe, valuing intuition, and continually seeking spiritual evolution. This also involves the courage to let go of what no longer serves and to take responsibility for one's journey. Conscious action is the antidote to spiritual death and the path to soul healing. The good news is that even after periods of disconnection, it is always possible to reconnect with the divine purpose. The universe is generous and constantly sends new signs to guide us back on the path. When a chosen one consciously decides to align with their mission, they experience a profound transformation. The soul, once wounded and disconnected, begins to heal. The emptiness is filled with a new sense of direction, and the inner flame shines brightly again. This reconnection not only restores spiritual energy, but also awakens a new level of strength and clarity, allowing the chosen one to fully live their purpose and illuminate the world around them. Even for those who have strayed from their purpose and felt overwhelmed by the darkness of spiritual disconnection, there is a liberating truth. It is always possible to get back on the right path. Spiritual death, as deep as it may seem, is not definitive. It is important to remember that the universe, God, or divine energy never stops calling those who are chosen. No matter how far you are, there will always be signs, opportunities, and moments destined to bring you back to your essence. All that is needed is the willingness to listen, open your heart, and allow yourself to be guided again. The key to getting back on the path is to recognize the call. It can arise in unexpected ways: a meaningful conversation, an event that awakens something in you, or even the simple silence that invites reflection. The important thing is to be present and receptive. Many chosen ones ignore these calls because they are immersed in doubts or mundane distractions. But by allowing yourself to slow down and pay attention, you will begin to realize that the universe never stops sending signs. They have always been there, waiting for you to be ready to see them. Getting back on the spiritual path is not something that happens by chance. It is a conscious decision. It requires courage to admit that you have strayed and humility to accept that you need divine help. But it is precisely in this moment of vulnerability that transformation begins. When you commit to starting over, even if it is a small step, the universe responds in a grand way. Doors that seemed closed begin to open, and a new energy of purpose and clarity begins to flow into your life. Starting over is not a setback. It is an opportunity to grow even stronger and more aligned. Many chosen ones feel guilt or shame for having strayed from their purpose, but it is essential to understand that the spiritual path is not linear. Everyone faces moments of doubt, stumbles, and deviations. What matters is not the mistake, but what you do from it. The first step to getting back on the path is to forgive yourself. View your mistakes as lessons and recognize that they are also part of your journey. By practicing self-compassion, you create space for healing and a deeper reconnection with your purpose. At this very moment, the universe is calling you. It is saying that there is still time, that you are capable, and that your mission is still important. Listening to this call means trusting that, no matter how far you have gone, the way back is always available. This is the message of hope I wish to leave with you. No matter how dark the night may seem, the sun always rises again. The purpose that lives within you is eternal, and your light will never be extinguished. Just take the first step, open your heart, and say, "I am ready to return." From there, the universe will do the rest, guiding you with love and renewed purpose. And now I want to hear from you. What was the moment in your journey when you almost felt you were on the brink of spiritual death, but found the strength to continue? Share your story in the comments or any sign that helped you overcome this challenge. Let's strengthen this chain of faith and learning. And as an act of spiritual declaration, write in the comments, "I am a chosen one and nothing can extinguish my light." Your participation can inspire and strengthen others who are facing similar struggles. Together, we are stronger. Thank you for staying with me until now. If this content resonated with your heart, follow the channel, like, and share this video with those who might also relate. If you want to understand how your body can mysteriously transform during pure spiritual awakening, you cannot miss the next video. There, I reveal profound changes that only the chosen ones experience, and this might be the missing piece to complete your journey. Click now and discover this revelation before it's too late.